Hello, my name is Veronica and I'm an academic English teacher from IES. Today we're going to be looking at how to use a database, in particular proquest. At university and at IES, one of the most important skills you'll need is writing essays. And to get the research and evidence to write your essays and support your ideas, we need to use an academic database. This video tutorial will show you how to use the database to search for articles and to keep a reference of them. We're going to be looking at, firstly, what a database is. Secondly, how to make your search quick and easy on the database. Then we will look at how to narrow your search down so that you're only reading the articles that are important. And then we will give you some tips on how to read those articles and be critical when you're reading. And finally, once you've found the information that you want, you need to keep a good list of references. So we'll give you some tips on how to write your reference list. Before you begin your search, it is important that we start with your essay question. Have a plan of your essay question ready. What do you want to write about in your essay? For example, the essay question, global food security is a serious concern, do you agree? Is what we will look at in this video. Now it's time to log into the database.
Okay, so the first thing you need to do is to log into the database that your university subscribes to. For IES, we log in through MyFY, so you log in with your username and your password, go to AE and then Resources. And at the very top you'll see Database. Now we've got two database engines, and for the purpose of this video we're going to log into proquest. So you'll have to take note of the username and password details, copy the username, and remember your password is welcome. Now we're into proquest, so we just paste in the username and then type in our password. And once you've done that, you can log in. Now you'll see the proquest interface, and it just opens up with a search. Now for our purpose, we want to look at global food security and whether it's a concern. If I was just to put the essay question in there by writing global food security and then searching, you'll notice because it's not a very clear search, we'll have far too many search results. Now unless you want to read this amount of searches, what we need to do is to narrow this search down. So if you can see, if you just put your essay question in there without much of a clear search, you have far too many searches. So what we need to do is narrow this search down. Now the term global food security, also you might note, is this search will bring up anything to do with global food security. So we need to make sure this term is a compound term, and how we can do that is to put speech marks over food security. That way, in the article we find, will be the compound term food security will be there. Now, we still have too many searches, so what we can do is go through to the advanced search engine. And that's just at the top under social sciences. Here we have the advanced search. Now I'd like to search for food security. So I'm going to input food security, and I'll make sure the speech marks, the double speech marks, are around food security so that this term is not broken up. And because I want to search, in my plan for the essay, I did want to look at farmers. Now, because the term farm, farming, farmers can be any, and the word starts to change around the M, I'll write farm and then put an asterisk at the end of that word. That way, any search with farm, farmers, farming will come up. Now, I've searched here, and now my searches should relate to anything to do with food security and farmers, or farming, or farms. However, I still have too many searches, so I need to narrow the search down. What I'll do is I'll click the peer review and full text articles. Now, peer review refers to articles that have been reviewed by other academics. People have written about this this topic, and they've commented. So that means this carries academic integrity. I also click on full text because there's frankly nothing more infuriating than searching through the database, finding an article that's really interesting, but you do not have the full article. So I want to eliminate this frustration, and I'll click only full text. Now you'll see the search has narrowed down somewhat, but I do need to narrow it down quite a lot more. This is good. This means that this is a topical issue and something that is being written about a lot. But I can narrow this down further. I can reduce my search results by narrowing down the date when it was the article was written. So here I'm choosing some dates, and I can see in the last few years that there have been a lot of articles written about this topic. So I've narrowed it down through date. I only want recent articles. So as you can see, there are 129 sources here. So I'm back in my advanced. I can look through wanting these terms in the title or in the article. So I just click here. I can choose food security. If I want this in the title, I go and click on title, and about the farms, it could be anything in the article. So I'll search. Now this has narrowed down my search considerably. What I might start doing is looking at the titles of the articles and reading, just critically read the document titles, always asking, does this answer my question? If you start reading every article, you will be reading for hours, so you want to be very critical. So reading the topics, and then you could even start to read the abstract that's just written down there, just the first few sentences. Keywords are highlighted to help you. Now you'll note there's 3 pages. If you like, you can scroll to the next page. Now, once you've read the articles and you find one that is answering your question, click on it, open it up, and scroll down to see, does this have the information you're looking for? Now, I don't expect you to be reading the whole article at this stage. You're just reading for keywords, constantly asking yourself, does this answer my question? If it doesn't answer your question, go back. Now this article here, it looks interesting. I click on it. I just quickly look through the abstract. If it's answering my question, I will click on the full text article. Now you can find the full text article because there's a little red PDF icon below the title name. Here's the full text article. I can see this is academic. I also can see it's answering my question. If I scroll down, just quickly skim the article. There's some charts, there's tables, and it has a reference list. This means it's an academic source. Now, the references are a great resource for you if you want to look for further articles. You can just follow through their reference list, and that'll help you find other articles similar to the argument that you're using. So take a note of that. Now, if this article is answering my question, it's got useful information, it's academic, I will want to keep a reference of this. So it's very important that you keep track of your references. We use Harvard referencing. Very important to find out from your lecturer what type of referencing you need. We use Harvard, and you just click on that and then change. You scroll down the type of reference and change, and then the reference will come up. Let's do it again. Here we are, we're looking at Harvard referencing. We take a copy of that. And I recommend that you have a separate file for your articles that you want to save, and also a Word document for your reference list. So I'm opening up a Word document, labelling it references. And I can simply paste the references in my Word document. Now please note that this, while it is Harvard referencing, it's a little bit different to the way that we reference at University of Queensland. For starters, we need to have, well, it should be in 12 font. It should not be double spaced. I'm just making this bigger so that you can see. What we need to add is a view date the URL, and we need to change the punctuation slightly so that it is the same as Harvard referencing for University of Queensland standards. So I'm adding in a view date. So comma after the page numbers, viewed, March 23rd of March 2014, and our URL. Very important you have the angle bracket, www.proquest.com. You don't need the full address, just proquest is fine. Close the angle bracket. Now when you do that, because it's hyperlinked, it will immediately delete the angle bracket, so you can remove the hyperlink or just reinsert the angle brackets. Now I'll have to change some punctuation after the initial. I don't need the full stop. And for the title of the article, I don't need double quotation marks. I also need lowercase for the title. So I'm just going to change the lowercase from capital letters to lowercase and the double speech marks. There I've got my title of the journal in italics, the volume number, the issue number, page numbers, view date and URL, and I'm set to go. I can save that. I do recommend that you have a separate folder where you can also save your readings and keep the reference list there. And we now have our first source.
Let's review the main points of this tutorial. Ensure you understand the database platform and are able to use the advanced search engine. This will help you narrow your search down. Use Boolean terms and, or not. Click on boxes for the peer-reviewed articles or the full articles. If you'd like to sort through dates or locations, use these tools. Be critical when you're looking through articles, always asking, does this answer my question? When you do find a good source, ensure you keep a good record of your findings. Make sure you keep your reference details all handy. I hope you've enjoyed this video and that it's been helpful. Remember, if you need any help with your essays, please do not be afraid to ask your teacher. Happy essay writing!
Now that you've finished watching this video, you might want to check your knowledge with the quiz below. Good luck.